what are we looking at? These are all accessories.
Okay, this is notions. This is what's called notions. We have zippers, we have findings, snaps, and then we have purse hardware. We have, pins and needles and scissors and stuff. I mean,
Everything.
This is stuff that you need.
These are all the accoutrements.
It is all you need. This is what messes up your sewing studio. But you absolutely have to have it.
This is everything that's on the desk, floor, table, chair, when you're making. And so you guys, this is a full service shop.
It is, because we also repair sewing machines. So not only do you buy them from us, but we also repair them when something happens.
Okay, so now in this industry, is that rare? Because you sell them, you fix them. You're also doing all this other stuff. It's not just a sewing machine shop who has, because that I think is a store in Fredonia. Is that right? The vacuum and sewing machine store. So if they have the machines, you can get them fixed there, but they don't have all the fabrics and the quilts and all this other stuff. So in that regard, you're kind of a rarity.
Yep. For the most part, the machines are very, very good. They're manufactured well. But you have to take into account that users can have issues with them. They can break needles, they can damage their bobbins, they can mistreat them. And that does happen.
Do you think the mistreatment, because I remember this isn't going to go to air, but my ex-wife was really brutal on her first machine. But I think she just thought it was diesel because of the way,
And I believe that. They think that they're infallible. Yeah. And they aren't. They're still a tool.
And they're fragile.
They're just like a car.
Right.
You have to have maintenance on your car. You have to replace the tires, your batteries, oil.
Right.
Here, you're going to have some maintenance and care. And it is amazing sometimes when machines come in and they're hurt.
Yeah,
and we feel bad.
Sometimes you're like, what happened to this thing? Did you try to sew steel?
You can't really say stuff.
No, but I know. But when you get it back, you're like, wow, this is
Poor baby.
Are you guys full on that? As far as you could bring in a machine that is just out to lunch and you can really get it pretty much?
If the person wants to put the investment in, yes, we can. We have our doctor. His name is Dr. Carl Samantello. He is amazing with repairs, and we have an understudy for him, and her name is Roz, and she is getting pretty good at troubleshooting. So we are getting there. We're very fortunate that we don't need full-time technology. Right. The machines are good on their own, and we're good at troubleshooting here as well.
I like that you said, because I mean, you understand. You love your machines.
These are ours.
Yeah.
I mean, and I learned early on because of a mistake I made to a customer, that it isn't always just a machine. Sometimes it is a memory. Sometimes it was purchased by estate money from a mom who passed on.
Right.
And they're coming in thinking they need an update. And here I am telling them to trade it in, trade it up. It's an older machine. You're not going to have as much part availability. And all of a sudden you can see the demeanor change.
Yeah.
There's I'm not... don't tell me I can't have this machine. And I'm like, whoa, I'm backtracking now.
Right.
But I didn't know there was a human connection to it.
Right.
And this is where you have to balance that sales, trade-in.
Sure.
How much do you... And we're not pushy here. We're not hard sales. That doesn't make me a good salesman, but it makes me a really good person to, maybe I would say, you've got probably 3 years of parts left in it that we can get for you.
Well, it's the integrity of your business.
It absolutely is. And I have a washer story that I relate to people. I was pressured into buying a washer many years ago when I could least afford a high-end washer.
Sure.
And I couldn't say no. And I hated that washer the minute it was delivered.
Ooh.
And I never want that to happen to a sewing machine. Because you know what's going to happen? It's going to stay in the box, and it's going to be buried in a closet. The lady will pay it off over time and never return to it.
Yeah.
The kids will find it in the closet under a big box of towels, and they're like, Mom's got a brand new sewing machine. But she had a bad taste with it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this is the love of
of sewing. Baby Lock's tagline is for the love.
Is it? Is that what it is? It's just that, 3 words? For the love. And it is for the love. I mean, this is why you got into it.
That's
why
exactly
you continue to do it. Now, your fabrics, you have fabrics up front, you have fabrics here. What's the differentiation between the fabrics that you have up front and back here?
Well, here is what I would call our recently released
Okay.
flavor, our color wall.
It's your Hot 100?
I would say that.
Yeah.
And then here is more our architectural fabrics for our landscape artists, our wide backs for our quilting, for the quilting part of it. And then we have some farm fabrics. So if you're an FFA or Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, if you're a pig farmer or an alpaca farmer, we've got fabric for you. We also have a couple of trademarked items, the Buffalo Sabres, the Buffalo Bills. We have panels. We are probably one of the largest sewing centers in Western New York that has over 150 panels. And panels are quick quilts, pillow forms.
I was just going to ask. So
Yeah.
a panel.
A panel is a pre-printed idea.
Okay.
It's not a pieced quilt. And then back here, we have fabric, but this is our Delightful Deals department. And Joanne had come up with that name. And we have an area of sale right here on the left-hand side. So we have some of our discontinued yarns, some of our $5 a yard bucket, for the gals that are doing costumes or rugs or,
Oh, sure.
or they're trying to stretch their budget.
If you're doing like an entryway rug or something that's just going to be beat up and you want it nice still.
Yep. Or a craft.
Right.
For a kid that's learning how to do placemats.
Right.
It's going to help spread your budget. And then we have some really fun tractor stuff. We have the Ford New Holland, we have International Harvester, we have Case. John Deere fabric was popular quite a while ago. That's kind of fallen away. We have some dots and stripes, and this is our sale area.
Wow, it's really extensive though. I mean, how many bolts do you have in here? You must
about
have
1,800 total.
You do?
Yeah.
So
and that's a good number for us because we can turn it quickly, and so if you come in the spring, by fall we have all new fashions.
Really?
Yeah, not all, but
1,800 is a lot.
1,800 is a lot of bolts.
I mean, so you know what I like about that? You know what that tells me? You're crushing big bucks.
Well, we're trying.
Right.
Joanne is doing inventory right there now, so we get fabric deliveries probably.
Hi, Joanne. She's mentioned your name, and I was like, "Where's Joanne?"
She's behind
over there.
But we get fabric deliveries every day. We meet with our sales reps a lot.
You do.
And then I go to shows twice a year.
You do.
So I do.
And
I do.
what are the big shows? What do we have here?
Here is our embroidery thread and support area. So we have, and it's specialized thread for the embroidery machines. We also have stabilizer, which goes underneath the fabric. And then we have tools for the embroiderer and needles as well for the sewing machines. And the manufacturers are constantly coming out with new and improved stuff. And that keeps me crazy, but
I'm sure, right? Because like, we just
understood this, and now you're asking
and now
me
you're
to
changing it
understand
up
more.
again. Now, so the acceleration of all technology is really at a breakneck pace. And
it's almost overwhelming, and it's exhausting because you just think you're understanding everything, and all of a sudden now they've got something new. And so you're catching up to it. And also the flip side of that is our consumers are way smarter than we are on a regular basis because they can sit on their computers every day
They have the
and
time,
blog it and read it and study it. And of course, once you're on one blog site, you're on 10.
Yep.
So they come in and say, hey, Baby Luck's coming out with a new machine this fall. I go, we are?
Well, you're curating a selection here that is like 50,000 pieces deep, and you can't watch every facet of every piece here. And so your customers are your resource.
They are,
right?
And so you embrace them instead of like oh, I don't want to hear it. You're lying to me.
Yeah, la 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 la.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing
I'm not hearing this.
I don't want to know.
I'm going, tell me more. Tell me more.
Right.
I'm the last to know. I'm like the other woman,
Well, but I mean, you have like what we've already witnessed. So even material science, mechanical science, computer science, what I find interesting about this business, and I know when we were doing our research for our dolls in California, was that this industry utilizes so many other aspects.
Oh, you don't even know.
I don't. It's crazy. Like I can already see here, like what we've just seen, the scope of this. So as an artist, right, if you're into oil paints, okay, there's brushes, there's canvas, but within reason, it's limited. This industry is all over the place.
It's exploded. You have everything you just mentioned. We had a card class in here the other day. We were using our embroidery machines to make greeting cards. And then they were taking specialized colored pencils and coloring inside the sewn lines.
Oh, that's got to look
It's
awesome.
incredible.
Did that look
And they were
cool?
here for like 4 hours, and they created 3 or 4 cards.
Wow.
And the person that gets that card should never, ever throw that card away.
Boy, that's a piece of art.
That's a piece of art. And it's that woman using the investment of her machine to give in a different way. And it's another way to use that piece of investment in another way.
So you've seen the technology from the time that you've started being similar to what it had been for a long time. And now it's like you can barely breathe.
Right.
Without something
True statement.
being innovated.
Correct.
And you're like, when did this happen?
And when I open up another design magazine, I'm like, oh, I want that. And oh, when did that come out? And then the trade magazines come, and I'm like, wow, Robert Kaufman really did great with that. Or, Moda Fabrics, what are they doing? Look at this, cool color selection. And I want it all. I'm like my consumer, but I know I can't have it all.
Right.
So I have to do the pick and choose for my market. Yeah.
And that's what's important about you as a business owner, that you have to read the trends, read what your customers' feedback, entails, read the trades, go online.
Well, and my staff keeps me informed.
Right.
They're like, hey, have you seen this? Or they get the magazines too and advise me, because
you can't keep running a business at the end of the day.
If I bought everything I liked, I'd be the only one sewing. I need influence. I need influencers here,
And what's over here now?
And here's some more support. We have variegated threads. We have collection threads. We have another whole rack of quality sewing machine needles for any kind of sewing. Pre-wound bobbins to make our bobbin life so much easier. We have inspiration on if you wanted patches. If you wanted to make patches, here's a patch kit and a free design pack in here from Dime. So you can, make your own patches. And we have specialty tools up there. And, of course, we have software. Software adds another whole level up for your embroidery machines. This is our classroom.
Yes, it's really appropriate. It's appropriate that it's not off of the main shop or anything. Right. It's in a very good area here.
And there are times when I wish there was a wall here so that it was more private. But then our stepsister over here wouldn't have accessibility.
Yeah, well,
our yarn
department. Right.
I also love to knit, and so when our local knit shop went and closed, it was not in my original business plan to have yarn. And my husband, he would come in after work and have coffee with me before he went home. And he said to me one day, he goes, "You're not listening to your customers." And those are fighting words.
Yeah, those are fighting words.
I totally
agree. You're like, all right, we're going to go right now. All right.
And he goes, every time I'm in here, they keep asking you to have yarn, and you don't have yarn, and you know how to knit. Why don't you do yarn?
That's a good guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy.
Yeah, because, a lot of people.
And so I really explored quite a few options, and I've gone through quite a few selections. I'm okay here. But yarn is very personal, just like fabrics. You have the gals that want all acrylic that'll outlive them.
Right.
And Afghans and blankets. And then you have the specialty yarns that people want that fiber in their hands, and they want natural fibers. They want, if they're putting 80 hours into a sweater, they want it to be a work of art. Yeah. And you want that for them.
Right.
And then you've got the dishcloth ladies, and that's this rack right here. And this is a scrubby yarn, and this is a scrubby yarn. And then you've got some specialty baby cakes here for baby yarn.
I didn't know, because I would shop with my ex for this stuff. I had no idea what this was. That's what its usage is?
Yeah. You make little scrubby dishcloths with it. And it is absolutely fabulous. It's all cotton, so it's absorbable, and it's washable, and it outlasts.
Now, do you knit?
I do knit.
Personally, you do?
I do.
So you quilt, knit, so you do it all. You crochet?
I do, but my husband said he would leave me if I had a pottery wheel delivered to the house. So
that's outside of your jurisdiction.
I don't have a pottery wheel.
Did you want one?
I did.
You did?
But, I'm crafty.
Yeah.
But
but you got enough here. So is there anything up there?
That's the quilting area. That's the quilting machine area.
Okay, so now...
Yeah, because what this is, it's a quilting machine. So see all the quilting designs on that fabric?
Yep.
That's what this machine does. It puts all 3 pieces together. And you are operating here, and this is computer driven. So if you want
to... Are we looking at the same type of thing with the sewing machines, just in a quilting?
Right.
So this is that customizable?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, because it's so, like, it looks... there is a industrial revolution look, because it's so big.
It's a 10-foot frame. And so for many people, so like if you were a quilter and you got your top done, the daunting part is the quilting, because you're going to have 108 inches wide worth of, say, a king-size bed, 108 inches,
Okay.
and you're going to try to fit that under the needle of a regular machine that's about this wide, and you've got all this fabric. Your chances for success dwindle.
Are minimal.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, you have two choices. Either I struggle with it and do it,
Right.
I send it out to a professional, or I rent it at Creekside Fabrics for a way reasonable figure, and I do it all myself.
So I would imagine that this has got to be one of the only machines like this in the area. I'm just hypothesizing here. And the fact that you rent it to, so it's not like somebody comes in and says, make me this.
Correct.
So do you give them, you must train them on this?
We do. We have
do.
a certification day.
Okay.
They're here for a couple of, well, probably 4 hours.
Okay.
Cheryl is very thorough. She's my department manager. And you're gonna have a comfort with this machine. You're not gonna be an expert. And then you get Cheryl with the rental.
Gotcha.
So she'll help you load it. She'll help you come up with your design. And then she'll help you run it. And then, like today, when you came, the lady that rented it was out. And Joanne is covering Cheryl while she's on vacation this week. So it's an incredible, if you want ownership of that quilt from start to finish,
Right.
this is the only way to do it.
Now, so I'm obviously unfamiliar with the quilting process, but you had mentioned 5 different people, like you were describing the acknowledgement of certain skill sets that are required to build a quilt. And I think you had mentioned 5 different steps or stages or people that would be involved in an average quilt.
Correct.
So this machine literally does it all. And up to this point, there was, for me to make a quilt by myself and have all those skill sets was hyper rare, correct? Or
You
no?
would struggle through it.
And it would obviously show, and it wouldn't be as durable because of those.
And for many years, we were afraid to say homemade. I made it, because people say, oh, that's homemade.
I see.
Oh, that's homemade. Now, when you look at something, sometimes it's really hard to say, wow, you did that? You'll hear that a lot. Oh my gosh, you did that? How did you do that? How did you know how to do that?
Right.
We hear that more.